Thank you for coming to our presentation. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Olive.
I'm the diversity and STEM coordinator of the Citrus Circuits.
And I'm Olivet. I'm the LGBTQ rep for Citrus Circuits.
Hope you guys are all in the right classroom because we will be talking about promoting DE&I. Next slide, please. So before we dive into the things that we actually do, I want to go over what DE&I actually means. It stands for diversity, inclusion, and equity, where diversity means the quality of including different people from social, ethnic backgrounds, different genders, sexual orientations, etc. Inclusion is the practice where you're providing equal access to opportunities and resources to everyone. And equity is a practice that recognizes each person has different circumstances, and when we allocate the resources and opportunities for people to reach the same outcome. So one thing I really want to point out is the difference between equity and equality. If you see these three pictures here, and this one right here, in the far corner left, you see two kids, but then one of them is getting an apple and the other one is not, right? And that's basically what inequality means. They're getting different outcomes, where one is getting the apple and the other one is not. In the middle picture, they have the same ladders at the same height, but then still one of the kids are not getting the apple. And that's what equality means. They're given the same resources and the opportunity, but they're not getting the same outcome. And that's where equity comes in, right over there. They have ladders of different heights, but then they're getting the same outcome of getting an apple in the end. Slide, please. So why is all of this important? Well, from the 1960s to the 70s, car companies used actual live people for test subjects. And they mostly used men because they believed that men were more likely to get in car accidents compared to women. And when they released test dummies for these crash tests, they only made male dummies because they didn't have the enough funds to make a woman dummy. And all they did was slim the size down, which is not what you should do in terms of safety. And as of now, we see women as the majority of drivers, and they're less likely to get in accidents, but they have a higher chance compared to men of getting into dying in a car accident and getting a serious injury. What's good about this recently is that just this year, Sweden actually made a female dummy that's not slimming down the size, but that's actually taking into account how men's bodies are different from women. And I feel like this is not just about men and women. It's also about like tall people, small people, big people, short people, people with disabilities. And where I'm getting to is that in order to make a society for everyone and to make it safe for everyone, we need to make sure that everyone is included and that everyone is contributing. Next slide, please. So we're going to get into our team demographics. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about our community, Davis. Davis is a predominantly white community. 50%, or a little more than 50%, are white, and 20% are Asian, a little less than 15% are Hispanic and Latino, and the rest of them are Hawaiian, other Pacific Islanders, Native American, African Americans, or multiracial. But if you look at our team demographics, it seems that our team is doing a pretty good job representing the Caucasian and Asian population. And our multiracial population is seeing an increase, which is also pretty good too. But we are not doing a very good job in representing African Americans, Native Americans, Pacific Islanders, or Hispanic and Latino people, which is, I feel like, is an area we definitely should work on. Next slide. So in terms of gender, if you see the bar from 2019 to 2020, we have almost the same ratio between men and women. However, it looks like our women's stats are going a little down, but then there's like a tiny bit of increase between 2022 and 2023. However, we feel like there's a lot more improvement to make these ratios get equal to each other. And we're also working on including non-binary people. We can see that in 2022 to 2021, we have quite the number of people right there, and then also in 2019 and 2020. But as in 2022 to 2023, we have some room for development. Next slide, please. So to talk a little bit about our DISTEM history, DISTEM stands for Diversity in STEM. It's our initiative of making sure everyone is included in this endeavor for STEM. It used to be WISTEM. It was founded in 2014. It stands for Women in STEM. But then in 2018, we changed it to Diversity in STEM so that we include a broader group of people. And in the same year, we started something called WISE events. They stand for Women in STEM Empowerment. And I'm going to explain more about these events later on. Next slide, please. So what do we actually do? In terms of recruitment, we reach out to middle schools in our area, and we present about our team, not in science or math classes, but in English classes. And why do we do that? Because English is a mandatory class. We want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to hear about how awesome our team is. And other than reaching out to the people who are only interested in math and science, we also want to include the people who are interested in different subjects. And a mandatory class like English is a great place to reach all of these people. So within the team, we have something called Bonding Night, and it's something where we have our team members and we include minority groups, especially women and non-binary people, and we have these nights that are not just having fun, but we also have deep discussions on how to make our team more inclusive, how to make our team more diverse. And some of the fun parts of Bonding Night include going to the bowling alley. We did this last September. And also having a slideshow about what our mentors would be as Disney princesses. We also have something called the seminars, which stand for Diversity in STEM Seminars. This is a seminar or basically a Q&A section exclusively for our team members. And they give our team members a chance to interact with STEM industry people and get some advice on, just career stuff, and as well as how to make our team a little more diverse, a little more inclusive. We also, our team also tries to reduce financial barriers by providing scholarships. We have our youth programs provided to young children in our community, but then sometimes these children might not have enough resources to participate in our programs. And that's why we give out these scholarships to people who need it, as well as to our own team members. We cover travel expenses, which can be quite expensive if you're going from California to Houston. Next slide, please. Okay, so back to the WISE events. They stand for Women in STEM Empowerment. They're designed for young girls ages 3rd through 8th grade, but then we welcome anyone who else wants to come over and join us. They're basically, as you can see in these photos, basic STEM activities, experiments like acid-base experiments, extracting strawberry DNA. This one is circuits. Yeah. And these WISE events also include RoboCamps weeks. It's something we do in the summer for young kids. And this WISE RoboCamps weeks is dedicated for girls 3rd through 8th grade, so that they can be in a more comfortable environment where they can be in an area where they're with people who share the same passion. We also have Girl Scout tours at SAC Regional, where we bring girls and show them how our competition runs, explain about the game a little bit, show them around the pits. And it's a pretty engaging experience, especially that we include some pretty fun activities like scavenger hunts. Recently, we've been expanding our WISE events to our neighboring communities, including Dixon and Fairfield. And we are especially interested in doing that because those communities have different populations, right? So we want to make sure that it's not just our community who gets the opportunity to engage in this awesome opportunity, but some other groups that may be interested, if a community is predominantly Hispanic, we want to reach out to them because our community has less than 50% of Hispanic Latino population. Next slide, please.
So, other than WISE events, we also support the LGBT community. So, around 2021, we first joined the LGBTQ at first, and we're currently bronze tier. Those of you who don't know what the LGBTQ at first is, it's an organization help to represent people in the community that are LGBTQ and create a safe space for mentors, volunteers, team members. Okay, so for our community outreach, something we've done is have Pride Month posts. So here in this picture is one of our posts, and basically we highlighted four notable LGBTQ people in STEM and talked about what they do in their STEM careers and how they're bettering our community. Something else we've done are robot demos during Pride festivals. So we've partnered with the Davis Phoenix Coalition, which is a community group that not only supports the LGBT community, but it supports other underrepresented groups. And they have lots of things like youth groups and these like monthly meetings for Hispanic immigrant mothers. So within our team in FRC, we've recently done some Pride shirts. So we have our rainbow flag shirt here and our trans flag. We've also partnered with other teams, as you can see here. And we don't only do LGBTQ flags, but we also do things like BLM flags, and you'll see that later on. So in our teams, we've had inclusive discussions as well, kind of like a roundtable night, where we've talked about what our team can do better, what our team is already doing, and how we can improve in doing that. We call these also bonding nights. A really fun activity we did was like a Kahoot, testing people's knowledge on the LGBTQ community. And we also had cake, which was really nice. Another thing we're working on right now are pronouns. So it is mandatory to have your pronouns in your Slack profiles, and we're also working on making pins for team, just so anyone who's comfortable can have their pronouns displayed on their shirt, just so everyone knows and they're comfortable. One thing we have on our team is Citrus for Change. Our first line was the Pride flag line that we did in 2020. The following years, we did 3 other lines, which were the Black Lives Matter flag line, and mental health awareness, and then the AAPPI, the Asian Pacific Islanders. And then the year after that, we also did 3 more lines, was with the Ukrainian flag, the trans flag, and then reproductive rights. So you might be asking, what can I do to make my team more inclusive? We'd recommend starting in your team, like organizing a bonding night, which we talked a lot about. And then targeting recruitment. So where is the most accessible place in your community? For us, it's our library. That's also where we host our WISE events, where everyone is welcome to join. And after that, it's good to support the team members and what causes they're interested in. So we participate in a lot of community events. like I said, going to pride festivals and stuff. And then it's good to reach out to community groups. Right now we're working on setting up an event in a neighboring community in Woodland, in the library, which has a lot of different background than our community in Davis. Another thing we've done is use social media to help expand the people we're inviting to things, just so we're completely transparent and we can show everyone our events. So, now time for a discussion. What else do you think we can do?
And feel free to ask questions right now if you have any about our slides or any of the programs we do.
Really anything.
So does any of your teams currently do anything to promote diversity, inclusion, equity, and vision?
Yeah. So our team, Team 1967, is also part of the LGBTQ First, and we're co-hosting the social tonight. There's also Lucy, guys should come over. And we also host the Young Women's Engineering Symposium, which we invite a bunch of female speakers who have careers in engineering to come and speak to women and female identifying and non-binary students about their experiences in STEM and how to get started on those careers.
Anyone else like to share? Okay, if not, do you want to move on to the next slide?
Yeah.
Okay, we actually made a survey so that we can hear how your team promotes DE&I, because we've shared all the methods our team does that. We kind of want to hear how other teams do it so that we can share programs, I guess.
Yeah, and I think every question is optional, so you don't have to feel obligated to answer anything that makes you feel uncomfortable.
Other than your team member and what role you are in your team, yeah.
Yeah.
So take some time to do that, and as you're doing it, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us. And if the QR code is not working or anything, please tell us.
If you're having trouble, you're welcome to come up if you'd like.
Just know that you don't have to complete the whole form. You can put it in like bullet point notes or anything you feel comfortable in.
Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
I guess while we're here, Kayla, do you want to talk about any upcoming things you're planning?
So I haven't really mentioned this in the slides, but I'm actually working on a partnership with the First Ladies. We've been a partner since last year, as far as I know. But we're also trying to fill the requirements of their application process so that we can be a partner with them again. And it's so for those of you who've never heard about First Ladies, it's like an first organization that promotes like gender equity and, as the name suggests, women, but also other genders as well, or sexual orientations.
Yeah. Besides making pronoun pins at the moment, I'm also working on recruiting any LGBTQ members in the STEM community to come and talk about their experiences to the team, as well as making some pamphlets just for the team, and maybe even putting them in our pits. The pamphlets would be things like what to do if someone comes out to you, or how to support someone in the LGBT community.
Maybe like tips and tricks for how to remember someone's correct pronouns or something.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think,
Yeah, that's why we're working on the pins.
yeah, that's our first thing.
Because we're a pretty big team, right? We have like 90 people, and it's kind of hard to remember each and every person's pronouns unless like they're permanent, right? But if their pronouns are changing every day, it's kind of hard for us to address them. And that's exactly why we're making the pins, so that people who feel comfortable about sharing their pronouns and can have the pins like right there, and we'll know how to call them.
Yeah. Also, I think something we're going to do is just have a bunch of pins in a bin in our shop, just in case someone is like gender fluid, their pronouns are changing, like anytime, they can go ahead and grab multiple pins or change their pins throughout our meetings whenever they'd like. And yeah. Yes, Jim.
The lines, the decision change, is there anything that was done with the lines, or was it just?
Should I go back to the slide?
Sure.
Do that for something else? Or you gotta go like a little more. Maybe a lot more. The next one.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
So our Citrus for Change initiative actually includes well, this was done a couple years ago with the Pride line and like the top row lines. We made shirts and stickers out of them, and we sold them. And the profit we donated to local charities.
For the mental health awareness one, we donated to the NAMI Yoga Foundation.
That stands for National Association for Mental Illness. And what's great about NAMI is that they have a chapter in many different regions. So if your team wants to reach out and like also support mental awareness as well, it's a great idea to contact NAMI in your region, and then maybe it would be a chance to talk about how to support mental health.
Yeah, and then the profits we got from selling our rainbow merch, we donated to a local LGBTQ center in Sacramento.
Yeah, and then the AAPI one, the profits went to Asian American Advancing Justice, so AAJ, abbreviating it. And we also make collab shirts with other teams, so.
Okay. Now, it's time for us to move on.
Did you say it was NAMI?
Yes.
How's that spelled?
NAMI,
Do you remember what it stands for?
National Association for Mental Illness.
Thank you.
And they have presentations, for example, that I'm coming and talking with a team next month about how to take care of mental illness, mental health, how to identify if you or someone you know is like going through a crisis like that. So they have like some notes and stuff on that.
Okay. Now we can move on from the survey. We're going to highlight a quote by
Wait, is that the, yeah.
a very helpful mentor that we have, which is Jen. So she said that being diverse is not about having a certain percentage of each group. Your team should reflect your community. So as you can tell, our communities has a lot of Caucasian and Asian people. So our team isn't really, diverse, as you might say. We could be doing better. But it does reflect our community. And for this, our community is diverse. We're reaching out to everyone we can.
Within our community at least. Because if you have, well, let's say, you give like a same amount of percentage on your team for each of the racial or ethnic groups, that would, in terms of talking with your community, some of the groups would be overrepresented while other groups are underrepresented, which is not quite reflecting how your community is.
Next slide. Okay. And this is just a survey for our fall workshops. You might have seen it on the door. But
I know this is the one that our fall workshop coordinator put in. So, not really our choice, but we love to have your feedback. If you go to the previous slide, I actually did the resource page. So.
oh, sorry. Okay, so these are our resources.
There's NAMI, like we talked about, and the LGBTQ plus of FIRST website. And then you guys can also visit our website to look at more about our the STEM Diversity and STEM initiative and the other programs we do.
So although we do have these wonderful links here, we also have some hotlines, just in case of an emergency. So we have the Trevor Project, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, which also has an online chat, and then the Trans Lifeline. We'll just take a moment just for anyone who wants to have these contacts in their phone.
I think we can just move on to the last slide.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming to our presentation. If you'd like to contact us, here's our email. And after this, we'll be having an LGBTQ plus gathering with the Chanksters. Yep.
Oh. Yep, that's basically our presentation. We ended kind of early, so if you guys have any questions or just, want to talk about our programs or your programs or anything, feel free to do that right now.
Thank you.